What's up, people? It's X on X, and today I thought I'd do a review of the Superman movie. Which is ironic because I'm not really a Superman fan, but that's besides the point. So let's get into it. So the first scene starts with Clark being, well, knocked down for some reason. And also, you can see from the screenshot, you're going to see a lot of scenes of him getting beaten up, but it's just them just trying to even things out with Superman because, he's tend to be pretty overpowered, so. And then his dog Crypto, which is actually a really cute dog in this movie, by the way. I think this might be his first live action. I could be wrong, but anyway, basically, the scene starts off with Superman getting pummeled, and he lands right here. And then Crypto basically shows up and drags him to the, what was it called again? The Fortress of Solitude. That's my bad. So all Crypto does is do a quick bark, and the freaking thing opens up. So there's that. And then all these droids come in and basically attend to Superman and see what his body's condition is in as Crypto walks in with him and basically, tries to check in on him. And then we get this play of like an old message that his parents sent, but they couldn't really decode it because it's in Kryptonian language. So there's that scene too, which fortunately happens. Meanwhile, one of Lex Luthor's doogies is basically outside and they are like searching for him, something like that. And then they're trying to check and see what's going on with Superman's status. They heal him up, not fully healed up, but heal him up, and then basically he decides he's going to go back to Metropolis because he needs to, save the day because Lex is causing some kind of commotion over there. Back in Metropolis, we see this guy, and tell me he does not look like Juggernaut if he could fly in a really high-tech looking cryotech suit. Anyway, basically, he's causing commotion. The town city, the entire people in that little area is basically dealing with his ass, and we're seeing that Lex, of course, is controlling this guy. He gets into a fight with Superman, as you can see, and he pummels the hell out of him, and there's a lot of scenes with that. He does exactly that. He returns to Lex, and then they go about how they're going to go in their next plan and how he's going to try to make the world go against him because he just fears Superman against the human species. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, or we're still in Metropolis, that's my bad, is that Superman goes into his Clark Kent outfit, and he goes back to working on something in the Daily Bugle. I'm sorry about that. Daily Planet. See, this is why I'm a Marvel fan, not a DC fan. Well, I mean, okay, I won't say I'm not a DC fan. Quickly, I'll just say I like some of DC stuff. I like majority DC stuff, just not some of the exclusive ones. That's besides the point. I do like DC, but that's besides the point. And so Lex has this idea about like basically making some other guys turn to metahumans, and I forget the name he calls it, but basically he's just trying to create these suits that you saw. That was just the first one, and then he's gonna have that so he could like use that to have more leverage over the planet, trusting him, and basically making Superman look like a villain. But we all know who the real villain is here, even if he's not specifically 5'9" and a bald guy. Tell me he doesn't look like he's the president. I mean, he's not in this movie, obviously, but he is the CEO of LexCorp, so I guess technically he's the president of something. But yeah, in this scene he's having like a meeting with one of the peoples from other places to get basically the trust. Damn it, I keep doing that. And there's a scene with Clark and Lois. This is my fault. Basically, it's just a scene with Clark and Lois. Yeah, sorry. Anyway. Basically, it's just them just kind of arguing. I'm not going to get too much into that. It doesn't really affect this movie. And basically, there's this scene where the Superman, you can see, taking on this giant alien creature. And we do get some party goers that join in on his little tussle with this creature. We have Mr. Terrific that shows up. I could be wrong. This might be his first live action, at least in the movies that I've seen so far. No, but they did a good job in his costume too. We'll say that. And then the alien creature trying to eat him like he a Tic Tac. Man, that would have been an unfortunate death in this movie. But sure, that's where the screen time was just that short. But like, well, so much for being Mr. Terrific. I guess he's a terrific meal. I don't know. we get Hawk Girl, or the Hawk Woman. Either way, she shows up, and it feels good to see her. It's been a minute since we've seen her actually be in anything else for a while other than being anime, but hey, here we are. And of course, in this scene, we get Nathan Philly. Oh, I mean, Guy Gardner. Yeah, I don't know why they gave him that wig, but it is not really much of a big issue in this movie. I just kind of wish they would just dyed it, but that's besides the point, too. It's good to see him here. And as they were saving the day, as you can see in this, well, that guy, John Watron speaks for itself. Basically, now Superman looks like a villain. And now he has to clear his name somehow. So there's that storyline. Damn, this is actually the first time I've seen this happen. I'm not going to rain on that because that is not for this. That is not this video, but I'll make a video of that some other time. So afterwards, Clark isn't sure what to do now because now people think that he's the enemy, and now he's not sure what to, you know, manage for himself. So now he's just kind of like, maybe he should lay low or something, or he's not sure what to do. Basically, contemplating what to do next. And in this scene, one of the ladies that work with LexCorp decides to make a deal with Jimmy. I forget his last name. He works at Daily Planet with Mark Clark. That's my bad. Wrong franchise. Let's see much comics, not DC. Anyway, point is that basically she makes a deal with him to like infiltrate LexCorp so she can dig up some dirt on Lex Luthor and also the shit that he orchestrated against Superman. As that happens, basically Lex manages to get the best of Soups, and he has him, as you can see right there. Metamorpho changes his hand into a kryptonite, which weakens him, and this is how Clark gets into the situation. And while the scene happens, he basically gets interrogated by Lex Luthor because now he wants to know, what's going on with Superman. Well, by that I mean like he's trying to see like what's his intentions or him like trying to go against the planet since he thinks that he's a threat or whatever. But that's besides the point. Yeah, just say real quick, I feel so glad we got to see Metamorpho in this live action. I tell you, this was kind of a surprise to me, but hey, it's a good thing that they decided to make this choice. Excellent too, by the way. And then next, basically, Lois decides to see what's going on with Clark because you see he didn't return, and as you can see, she also has Crypto with her. So since Clark's had a picture for a second, we have Crypto being her protector now, since that's the only one you can go to right now. And I know this scene looks like something from, well, one of those like hostage things, like someone caught in her house. But basically, she's at LexCorp where she found some dirt, and then she's sending them to Jimmy. And then in this scene, well, I guess I might as well just go scene. Lex is basically contemplating what to do because Soups is basically trying to escape. And then he opens up this dimensional rift once Superman does escape, and it basically to lure him out so that way you can like get him to show up. Pretty fucked up, but hey, so this is Lex Luthor we're talking about. And in the scene, basically Lois and Jimmy, thanks to his other intern, is like now they have basically dirt on Lex, and now they know exactly what Lex is planning, and then they know what to do next. The rift is getting closer and closer to the city, and Suits hasn't showed up yet because he's still recovering. And the rift rips half the city apart, as you can see, and then Lex had this little ship thing in his, well, disposal, but not surprised. He's a rich dude. What do you expect? Then Soups basically gets into a fight with one of his other metahumans, and they basically, I guess I could say, poison him with some nanites, and that's why his face looks like that. And things ain't looking too good for Soups here. And basically, he flew into space where which is cold, which kind of was basically frozen nanites, and then he's throwing them up here in the scene, as you can see. The scene might be confusing for some, but spoiler alert: the guy in that suit apparently he apparently basically likes to clone Lex Luthor, clone Superman's DNA. I don't know if this would count as Superboy, but nah, he looks too much like a man, so I don't know. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's basically like he made his version of him, but only older. So they fight it out, and he gets the best of him because he sees that he's clearly kind of slightly above him in terms of raw power. And as you can see in this scene happens here because basically Soups basically had Crypto um, called over, and then he took care of the problem with the other guy, and then took out the camera so that way he can be commanded by Lex Luthor. Then when that didn't work out, he sent these guys, and Superman was their ass, as you can see here. And then in this scene, Supes finally shows up at where Lex is at with his ship, and then basically comes in to stop Lex Luthor's little technological thing from basically opening up a rift. Mr. Terrific handles that, so there's that. Man, it looks like a game over screen. But now, basically, Lex gets exposed. Now people know that Lex was basically just trying to turn Superman against, turn the world against Superman because making them distrust him. And then, basically, the rift is stopped, and the day is saved, basically. This is just some extra shit. Basically, we see that the dog is actually Supergirl's. She just came to pick him up, and she leaves. And I guess that's our movie. So yeah, this movie overall was pretty decent. Being a non-Superman fan, I thought it was a fun watch. It felt good that they introduced other characters that weren't all that involved with the bigger picture. As you can see, like with movies, this might even be Guy Gardner's. I think that this is Guy Gardner's first live action appearance in something. I remember last time we introduced a Lantern, it was a CGI suit. That didn't last too good. This time the suit was CGI, as you can see from screens. So yeah, this movie was a fun watch. I'd recommend it. I thought it did pretty good. It certainly beats what happened with Zack Snyder when he was trying to make movies, and yeah, his run didn't do too well, especially with his cut, especially with his Henry Cavill Superman versus this. I don't know this guy's name, but him playing as Superman is like James Gunn did a good job. He knew what he was doing. This is why it got well received. Because with Zack Snyder's thing is like they kept giving him chances, and that shit just kept going downhill. So that's what ended with the Snyderverse. And then we got this shit going. So, and then not to mention, I like that we got Metamorpho. I like that idea. Then I think it's probably his also first live action appearance. If I might be correct, I don't know if I am, but it's besides the point. And but yeah, basically, you got introduced to more stuff as you can see in different clips, and it felt good seeing Mr. Terrific in something other than just animation. And Hawk Girl, yeah, it was cool seeing her too, even though I feel like the screen time short. But either way, yeah, it was a fun read, fun watch. That's my bad. And yeah, Lex Luthor was portrayed well. I also remember some people were saying too that like even like this is just comparison real quick. Like how Doctor Doom couldn't be portrayed well. Lex Luthor was never really portrayed that well in some movies previously. Some of like the recent years, like because like I remember like people complain about like how Lex looked like a little boy in the Batman versus Superman movie. Like yeah, they made him look like a little kid. Like the portrayal here is way better than how they did it with the other stuff. Because like when this guy was playing Lex in this movie, I was like, okay, he feels like Lex Luthor. He doesn't feel like a very cheap imitation or poorly done one for at best. And then, as mentioned, I don't know if the Nanite girl and the clone, or I don't know if they're actually from the comic or anything like that. They probably are, but I've never seen them before being a comic fan, so it's like, who knows what they came from. But either way, they made the movie interesting, so that helps. And then the robots that were taking care of him, and also this movie at least having some forms of humor, so that worked. And also the metahuman soldiers, I guess we'll call them. This review ended up being a lot longer than I originally intended to, but then again, the movie was like 2 hours long, so hey, couldn't help it, but it's cool. I mean, again, it was a fun ride. And then, like I said, it was cool seeing Metamorpho and seeing all that other stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys like, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in seeing this movie, you got a good idea of what's going on. So, like, subscribe, and see you guys later. Peace. Peace.